Peace sells. But who's buying? Wasn't that a Megadeth song, Dave Mustaine? I don't know. It doesn't look like the Iranians are buying so far, but they did cave. But then, decided 5 minutes after a peace deal is agreed to, started launching more missiles at Israel. Israel not too happy with the deal, but I was told by all the podcasters out there in Podcastistan that Israel was running us, was getting us into war. It's the Jews. That's what I was told the whole time. Well, apparently not. And here's another shocker for you. I know this is crazy, but CNN lied again, and they got the complete propaganda from the wrong side. And what happened was truly amazing, though, how Trump responded on Truth Social with this. It's really something. But how do all of this stuff affect us? Did you happen to pay attention to the oil prices this morning? Maybe you're not a stock watcher, maybe you're not paying attention to that, but all these gas prices that we've all complained about are about to go down again. And then all of a sudden people will be happy with the peace deal, most likely. All right, despite all this madness, there's also great news out of Artemis. I don't know if you saw the still shots, but to just get, for a timeline cleanse, to refresh your mindset, check out the pictures of Earth that they just posted just yesterday from the dark side of the moon with Earth peeking over, like the opposite effect of like how we usually see the moon. It was just incredible. We'll get to it. Thanks for finding me with Wicked Radio, the live stream on X and YouTube and on Facebook, and then the replay there. The audio podcast gets posted. As always, more and more you find in that, so I appreciate it wherever you like to get your podcasts. Let's get right to it. The peace deal announced yesterday. We did not send Iran into the Stone Age as Trump threatened yesterday yet. Well, let's just go to Bret Baier as he read the Truth Social, where Trump announced there was a lot happening on Truth Social yesterday, by the way, on Trump's social media account. Let's go to Bret Baier announcing the so-called peace deal.
Issued a Truth Social from the White House saying this: based on conversations with Prime Minister Sharif and Field Marshal Munir of Pakistan, and wherein they requested that I hold off the destructive force being sent tonight to Iran and subject to the Islamic Republic of Iran, agreeing to the complete, immediate, and safe opening of the Strait of Hormuz, I agree to suspend the bombing and attack of Iran for a period of 2 weeks. This will be a double-sided ceasefire. The reason for doing so is that we have already met and exceeded all military objectives and are very far along with a definitive agreement concerning long-term peace with Iran.
Long-term peace, hopefully. Yeah, you hope so. You always want peace. Peace is always a great thing, right? Well, then things got really interesting. We'll start first with American media. This was one of the first interesting things. Trump went to a lot of world media, so-called allies. He went to Sky News, and he talked to an Australian outlet, I believe, other European outlets to kind of reassure them and say the same thing that was in the peace deal hammered out, or at least the extension for 2 weeks hammered out there that Bret Baier was just reading. That was interesting. Back home, well, it was a totally different story on CNN. This is really something. This is, as far as watching the media and understanding what they do, this was quite something. They read a statement that got just blasted by the administration and Trump himself, who was promising an investigation into how they got this and why they're reading it. This was Aaron Burnett reading what they're calling breaking news from the Iranians. Nothing but pure, absolute propaganda. I know you think CNN was bad, and you're right. They've never, ever been this bad. This was a new low for even that organization.
Breaking news, Iran's foreign minister just responding to Trump's ceasefire announcement. I want to read part of it to you. He says, if attacks against Iran are halted, our powerful armed forces will cease their defensive operations. For a period of 2 weeks, safe passage through the Strait of Hormuz will be possible via coordination with Iran's armed forces and with due consideration of technical limitations.
Now, even regular people happen to be, maybe you're in an airport, maybe you happen to have CNN in the background. Normal people, everyone, and then, of course, administration officials, most importantly, Trump himself, caught that, and they said, that's not the statement. Iran did offer up an official statement and release it. That's not the one that CNN just released, that just read. That's not it at all. In fact, those aren't the terms of the deal. Where did they get that? They went back to Iran and they said, is this what you sent to CNN as a press release? And they said, no. No, it wasn't. Which led to this. I'm going back to Truth Social again. I won't read the whole thing. I'll try to skip around. But it's really something fascinating. These are different times. The alleged statement, this is from Trump, put up by CNN World News is a fraud. As CNN well knows, the false statement was linked to a fake news site from Nigeria. There's good journalism. And, of course, immediately picked up by CNN and blared out, he says, as a legitimate headline, the official statement by Iran just released and posted on Truth below, and he linked it. Authorities are looking to determine whether or not a crime was committed. Understand what he's saying, by CNN. Or was it a sick rogue player? CNN is being ordered to immediately withdraw this statement and full apologize for their, as usual, terrible reporting. Results of the investigation will be announced in the near future. Donald J. Trump. You've got, what a day. You've got an historic, very shaky, we'll get to that in a second, peace deal announced in the Middle East. Within minutes, CNN, as bad in the ratings as they are, releases a fraudulent statement. And then you got the president announcing an investigation possibly into that organization. Wow. Boy, that's something to keep an eye on, too. All right, so within minutes, not hours, not days, not weeks, just minutes after this supposed peace deal was announced, let's see if you can guess what this sounded. If you're familiar with it, you know 5 minutes after this peace deal was hammered out, the extension anyway, it's not a full peace deal. I guess I should stop calling it that. The Iranians launched missiles into Tel Aviv in Israel. That was the sound of their defense forces and the sirens and everything else 5 minutes after. That's somebody didn't get the message. They're not buying it, apparently. Either the Iranian terrorist regime didn't get the message that an extension has been ordered and there are all kinds of terms to open up the Strait of Hormuz, or they just don't care. Which leads to this. Are we dealing with people that cannot be trusted, honestly? This was a great statement last night. I think Jesse Waters was interviewing him. General Jack Keane. He's one of my favorite guys. He talked about the whole deal, and really, let's get to the bottom line on this thing. Can this deal last? Will it last beyond, or since they've already broken it, can you trust them ever? He says, no.
And we have stopped the war. So let's understand what's at play here from the Iranian perspective and also from our perspective. I don't trust the Iranians at all. The president doesn't trust them either. He's negotiated with them time and time again. He knows they're liars and cheats. So this comes down to the deal itself and what's in it and the verification for it. The Iranians are experts at obfuscating and delaying deals, and they lie and promise and don't deliver. So there's a lot wrapped up in the deal. My preference would have been to keep the war going as leverage to make that deal. But we are where we are now, and we're in a ceasefire. And it comes down to all the points in making that deal.
Bottom line, you can't trust them. So, how do we take that? How do normal people take that? And the ceasefire is happening in 2 weeks. You think it's going to last? There's nothing that would make you believe it is going to last when they launch more missiles into Israel 5 minutes into the ceasefire signed. 5 minutes. That's all it took. You can't trust them. So you take all of this and you look at all of it and you say, if you were betting on, let's say you went on that online betting site, Kalshi, would you bet that we're going to take hands off Iran forever? It doesn't look that way. It still looks like Trump's original statement where he says he's going to send him into the Stone Age will probably happen. And by the way, what happened to all of the media experts and all the propagandists and all the idiots on Podcastistan, all the doomers and the gloomers and the people and the rats that said we were going to nuke the Iranian people? That was never in the plan. He's talking about taking out a terrorist regime. Peace for the next few generations, at least for our country and the Western world. What happened to that? And then, of course, they came out with Trump caved. Trump caved. Did he? Really? These are the same people who have been complaining about the oil prices going up for, the past 3 weeks because of the Iranians' countermeasure to close the strait. The same exact people. But how about Israel now? Because I was told another thing, that they led us by the nose into this war. What happened to that? What happened to those people? Well, Let's go to the Fox News reporter on the scene.
Well, the Israelis, for what they know so far with the details in this 2-week delay in the war, they're not too happy with the details, but they say it's President Trump's decision to make. The Iranian response was to fire another missile at Israel. It wasn't 5 minutes from the time that Truth Social post went up that our phones lit up with another incoming missile. This missile was intercepted over Jerusalem. The shrapnel came down. We've got no word of any injuries.
First part of what he said there was the most important. Israel not too happy with this ceasefire. Oh, wait a minute. You mean, hold on. You mean it wasn't them that were leading us into this? Like we all told you, except for the liars in the media like CNN? Israel is dragging us into war. It's always the Jews. Really? Truly? Really? Well, look at it now. Look at how many people were wrong. And we'll never admit that they were wrong about this. Let's hope peace lasts. Let's hope so anyway. But the oil prices, the gas prices will be coming down if this holds. They'll be coming down eventually. Temporary rise, and I think it was Scott Bessent, the Treasury Secretary, who said this. You'll have 50 days of high gas prices for 50 plus years of peace. But I don't know if we have the mindset to actually put up with that again now. I really don't. I think we're so ADD addicted, and we only think, in the present moment, we can't actually think about that. You think about what people went through in, like, let's say, World War II, American citizens. Because of the war effort, and almost everybody was on board. You were willing to sacrifice things. And they had curfews, and they had rations, and you couldn't buy certain materials, and you had to donate certain materials for 4 years. You think we could actually could we do that now? Because we've had a couple of weeks of high gas prices in order to create peace in our world for the next century? By taking out this tyrannical, insane regime that we should have dealt with 50 years ago. But we're complaining about high gas prices for a couple of weeks. I don't know if we have the mindset to actually pull together for a common cause anymore. I don't know if we have it. And I think the media is to blame for that. Just look at CNN. All right, so we'll see. There's a I was going to dip into a press conference, but I just checked in on it now at the Department of War. They said it was going to call for 8 a.m. in real time, but they're always late for these things, so I don't know. We're going to have to grab the highlights from it later. I was going to jump to it if anything interesting was happening, but I just checked. They're not even at the podium yet, so we'll see what happens with that. We'll get the details on it. Let's hope this ceasefire holds. Let's hope so. Anyway, if it doesn't, you know what's going to happen. Trump was not kidding. And everybody called him. It's all this crazy talk. Does he have to threaten? Does he have to threaten to bring them back to the Stone Age? Yes, because just that one threat already led to, for now, and yes, a very shaky ceasefire, but it's there. Israel's not too happy. That's okay. We've got the formation of a ceasefire, and the administration is very hopeful about that. And if they break it, they're going to break it. That's where we stand. But keep an eye, just for fun, keep an eye on these gas prices, how they're going to go down if this holds. Oh, Israel led us to this. Did they really? Yeah, okay. Don't believe that for a second. All right, so we'll get the details apparently a little bit later on about this press conference that's happening at the Department of War. Pete Hegseth's going to speak. Maybe even Trump himself will go down to that building. Who the heck knows? Just to get you out of this and to refresh your mind and to make things a little bit better. This is not an audio thing. It's all visual and something you got to look up on your own. Just to understand how awesome this Artemis, I promised you an Artemis update every single day, just to understand how awesome this is, check out some of the still shots they sent back to Earth yesterday of us peeking over the dark side of the moon from that perspective as they went by the moon. Absolutely captivating, beautiful imagery. That'll put you in a better mood for all of this. But I got to get out of here because I want to actually pay attention to this press conference, which has not started yet for the Department of War and the update on the ceasefire. Does it exist? Will it? What does it mean for all of us? We'll all find out. These are crazy times, but there are good things happening despite what people like CNN are telling you. I'm telling you. All right, wrap it up a little early. I got stuff to do, but so do you. Thanks for finding the Wicked Radio live stream. Replay on X and YouTube and on Facebook. The audio podcast will be posted very shortly, wherever you like to get your podcasts. And by the way, so many more of you are finding it there because audio still rules, and you can listen at your own timeline and your own pleasure. Wherever you like to get your podcasts, it's right there. Just subscribe and download and share and follow and all that good stuff. Appreciate you. It's only Wednesday. Make it a wicked awesome Wednesday, and I'll talk to you tomorrow.